Imagine living in a world where some individuals possess supernatural abilities, allowing them to do all sorts of things that regular humans can't do. People with these abilities are known as contractors. As remuneration for using their powers, contractors have to perform an act they might not like. They call this act an obeisance. 10 years ago, Hell's Gate suddenly appeared in several places. Because humans couldn't comprehend this new world, they built a wall to protect themselves from the gate and everything it occupied. Surprisingly, Hell's Gate created contractors and passive mediums known as dolls. Our Gygaxid protagonist, Hei, is a contractor who works for a shadowy organization known as the Syndicate. The story follows Hei and his team put together to carry out tasks for the Syndicate. There's a doll in the team, Yin, who can spot their targets with the help of water. There's also another contractor named Mao who can transfer his consciousness to an animal. Unfortunately, he lost his human body, so now he is stuck in a cat's body for the rest of his life. The fourth member of this psycho team is their handler, Huang, who has a disturbing past and now takes it out on the team he is handling. We are drawn into Hei's story when he and the 4th Division of External Affairs cross paths. The 4th Division was investigating the case of the French agent when a contractor with the code BK201 intervened. BK201 is a cursed contractor because none of the police force cases relating to his Messiah code have ever been closed. Our main antagonist is Kirihara, the head of the 4th Division. After completing his previous mission, Hei moves into an apartment with the alias Li, an exchange student from China. Next door to him is the witness, Shinoda Chiaki. Later that night, the detectives from the 4th Division corner their witness in a club, and when she attempts to flee, they run after her. As the cops close in on her, she comes across Li, who is stargazing in the field. Li introduces himself as the neighbor who just moved in next door to her. She thanks him for saving her and then runs off again. Shinoda hides from the detectives when she meets an old friend, Jean. Jean seems hostile and tries to put Shinoda to sleep before Hei intervenes. Hei then tries to help Shinoda flee, but Jean corners them and throws Hei off the bridge. Shinoda comes to life later, and she learns that Jean, Louis, and all the other people she most likely worked with were contractors. She somehow miraculously escapes and stumbles onto Hei again. They go to a restaurant, and Li proposes an escape plan. Hei's handler shows up and asks him to hurry up and acquire the item they are after and dispose of the girl. The contactors from earlier appear at the restaurant and chase after Hei and Shinoda. Luckily, they escaped and hid out for the night. Hei learns that the Shinoda Chiaki he's known for the past few days is just a doll that has implanted memories of the real Shinoda Chiaki, who has already died. One thing leads to the other, and Hei kills all the other contractors. Unable to retrieve the package, Huang confirms that the Syndicate foresaw an outcome like the one they had at hand. In the next mission, Hei is placed in a factory to get closer to a man who had an accident outside the walls and possesses something that the Syndicate and other organizations are after. After an incident, the consultant Tahara has blocked out everyone in his life, including his daughter. Sometime later, we learn that Tahara's daughter, Mai, has been neglected all her life. Hei finds Mai trying to steal in a supermart when he saves her and walks the night with her. He learns about Mai's ability as a moratorium and her relationship with the flower in her father's office. Shortly after, Hei then gets separated from Mai, who later gets cornered on a construction site before setting the entire site ablaze. A moratorium is different from a contractor or a doll because they have no true sense of self and thus destroy everything in their path. The police are on the trail of the moratorium when they are attacked by Maya and Hilton contractors. The contractors kidnap Maya and demand that her father hand over his research in exchange for his daughter. Hei confronts Tahara before he leaves, and Tahara confesses to experimenting on his daughter to suppress her contractor abilities. The experiment failed when he created a moratorium, so he erased her memories. Hei then infiltrates the warehouse where Mai is being held hostage. Tahara agrees to give up his research to care for his daughter, but when Mai is released, he throws out a dead plant. Angered, the contractor murders Tahara. Seeing her father die right before her enrages Mai and she murders the contractor. Huang then reappears to take Mai to the syndicate. The following stage introduces us to MI6's finest contractors, who perform ridiculous obeisances. November 11th, who can freeze and unfreeze water. April, who can conjure up a storm. And July, the passive medium that operates through the glass. They tracked down Havoc, a contractor, and brought her to Pandora and the Division of External Affairs. Pandora, which stands for Physical Quantity Alternation Natural Deconstruction Organized Research Agency, is a Tokyo-based research facility dedicated to studying Hell's Gate phenomena. Havoc is a dangerous contractor who dominated Heaven's War and could create a vacuum out of thin air. Havoc willingly joins Pandora and agrees to be a subject in an experiment outside the walls. The operation to free Havoc from the wall fails when the CIA intervenes, and November 11th, also known as Jack, reveals that Havoc had been riding with them the entire time. They are stopped on their way by the Black Grim Reaper, Hay, and his team. Hay's team successfully kidnaps Havoc and outwits MI6's best contractors. On the other side, Huang plans to transport Havoc to the syndicate the next day, but Hay takes Havoc to a bar, and it turns out they knew each other from Heaven's War. Hay questions Carmen, codenamed Havoc, about his sister Bai. He tortures Carmen, but she admits to knowing nothing about what happened when Bai went missing. Hay feeds Carmen and suggests that they go to the wall so she can regain her memories and tell him about the events that occurred on the day Bai disappeared. She begs Hay to murder her if she reverts to her former self. Meanwhile, MI6 and the Division of External Affairs are hot on their tail as they approach the wall. When they arrive at the wall, Carmen begins to revert to her former self, Havoc, so she asks Hay to stop it, but he hesitates and flees with her after discovering that the MI6 was following them. Carmen begs Hay to leave her behind, but he refuses and promises to help her live a good life. His promise is broken when November 11th catches up to them and kills Carmen before fighting Hay. During the next mission, Hay infiltrates the Qing Long Tang party to retrieve a crystal in the Stone Flower Garden. Meanwhile, Chief Kirihara, who was investigating a string of crimes, ends up there. The contractor that Kirihara was after with the Messier Code VI 952 in her investigations is Wei Jejun, and he is working with Alice to eliminate Qing Long. Alice nearly kills Kirihara, but Hay intervenes, and they escape. However, Hay returns to the Stone Flower Garden to obtain the crystal. Wei arrives and intercepts Hay. They have a huge fight, and Hay falls off the building. Wei returns to Alice and kills her, but just as he is about to kill Saito and Kirihara, Hay jumps in through the window and kills Wei before retrieving the crystal. Hay's next mission requires him to infiltrate Pandora, located outside the walls near the gate. His disguise is the same, but he disguises himself as a janitor in order to retrieve a Meteor Gemini before the CIA does. Hay meets another man, Nick, who appears to have the same dream of seeing the real star. They have a connection, but it is short-lived when Hay discovers that Nick is a CIA contractor. Hay follows Nick to Hell's Gate, and while they fight, he sees his sister and becomes distracted. But the meteor fragment flashes and transforms Nick into a baby, leaving Hay to recover the fragment. Some days later, April of MI6 comes across Amber and Mackie of the Evening Primrose organization. She intends to give chase and reports the situation to Jack when she's mortally wounded in an explosion. The syndicate is led to believe that MI6 has stolen the meteor fragment out of their hands, so they implore Hay to retrieve it again. While in a confrontation with MI6, Hay discovers that Amber, a partner from the past, is back in Japan. And she is probably the one who stole the fragments. Amber has formed an organization called the Evening Primrose, EPR, with the goal of informing the public about the existence of contractors. She essentially wants to fight for all contractors' rights and privileges. Hay is angry that Amber is back, so he plans to go after her, but Huang says the syndicate does not want anything to do with the Primrose, so they get into a fight, and Hae puts Hwang to sleep. Later, Hae finally meets Amber and asks her about his sister, Bai. But before he could get answers, they get interrupted when Detective Kirihara catches up to them and forces Amber to freeze time to let them all escape. The Evening Primrose accepts responsibility for the bombings, and Amber is said to have betrayed Hae and the rest of their South American team. Hae's next mission is to infiltrate the Nakazaya family and recover a doll. He befriends a boy from the family and assists him in escaping with the doll. Then Hae is sent on another mission to infiltrate a religious organization and assassinate the prophet Alma, a member of the Evening Primrose. Shayoko, a woman from Hwang's past, is paired with Hae by the syndicate. Hwang attempts to supervise the operation from outside the building, but this results in Shayoko's capture. Shayoko appears to factor into Hwang's decision to join the syndicate after a gruesome past. They go in to save Shayoko but are stopped by Amagiri, who decides to let them go because he cannot kill Hae without Amber's permission. The priest commits suicide, and the syndicate orders Hwang to kill Shayoko. If he does not, Hae is ordered to kill him. Hwang intends to escape with Shayoko, but Shayoko flees and commits suicide to protect Hwang. Later, while the Evening Primrose is plotting something, the syndicate sends Hae's team to bomb the US Embassy, introducing a new contractor and a former acquaintance, Wei. They capture Dr. Schroeder for their gain. In surprising turn of events, November 11th switches sides and joins the EPR. When Hae's mission fails, Amber captures Mao and transports him to their headquarters. Sometime later, when Hae and the team reach their headquarters to save Mao, the police force arrives and almost captures Hae. Amber and the EPR flee, while Pandora appears to be preparing something suspicious in the background. It is revealed that the syndicate's goal is to eliminate all contractors, and Amber and the EPR are fighting back. When the syndicate discovers that Hae was involved in the disappearance of the South America Gate, they decide to expel him and haunt him. The EPR begins to take action to affect the Tokyo Gate, sending Wei to bring Hae to the gate. Hae, Yin, and Mao bid Hwang farewell as they enter the gate. Meanwhile, Kirihara visits Pandora and discovers their evil plan. The EPR and Pandora fight against each other, while Mao loses his consciousness in the gate and wanders off. When Hae and Yin arrive at Amber, she tells him everything that happened in South America and how Bai has always been within him. Pandora activates its beam to spread the gate and destroy the contractor. He encourages him to keep fighting and living without Bai, despite the fact that he now has a choice between being a human and a contractor. Finally, it is revealed that the chairman of the police department and Pandora were working with the syndicate to eliminate all contractors, but their plans were foiled when Kirihara and Hae were able to stop the syndicate. Finally, Hae vanishes when only he and Yin remain on their team. Detective Kirihara realizes Lee is Hae and attempts to apprehend him, but he vanishes again. The syndicate is no longer known, and contractor-related crimes are on the rise. Do you believe Hae and Yin will be back for a second season? And for what organization do you think they'd be working? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Please hit like and smash that subscribe button. Set that notification bell to see our latest updates as they drop. See you at the next one. Adios.